Hello, my name is Ilona, and in this video I want to talk about shadow work, which is very important. To me, it actually is essential to spiritually grow. Shadow work means that you look at your shadow, and your shadow has everything you don't want to look at. So there's pain, from your youth, certain patterns, guilt, fear, anger, everything you do not want to take a look at, everything you don't want to see about yourself, because ultimately it is about yourself. That shadow side belongs to you. When you grow up, certain situations occur that you just don't know how to deal with. Most of us weren't brought up in very functional families. So we've had to deal with certain emotional neglectance, parents that didn't know how to deal with certain emotions or feelings either, and we're just continuing how they were raised. So there are a lot of people out there who do not know how to handle certain things. So they grow up, they encounter all kinds of situations, and everything, when it gets too tough or it's too difficult, they just put it aside. They just put it in their shadow. So they don't have to look at it, and they can just continue with what they're doing. And of course, when you're a child, that's very normal, because as a child, if you're not told or supported in a way so that you know how to deal with it, you really have no clue. So you're clueless, so you just put it aside because you don't know how to deal with it. Or you, maybe if you get angry or get upset, the reaction from your parents or people around you isn't a very good reaction. So next time you will keep your mouth shut and you just push it away, push it aside, all these feelings or all this anger or what's going on. Maybe someone is stepping over your boundaries. When you're a child, most of the time you have no idea what's happening. You're just feeling all kinds of things and you have no idea how to deal with it. So it's just pushed aside. It's in your shadow. So when you grow up, you will encounter certain situations, certain people that will probably remind you, if you really look at it, at certain patterns that you're used to from your youth. Most of the time, people are not aware of that. But your shadow is still part of your energy. So you are manifesting with everything you have. So if you consciously try to manifest a loving relationship, but in your shadow self, there's a pattern of not feeling loved and not feeling that you're not seen or not understood, you will draw in a partner that will reflect your shadow self, because that's part of your energy. So it's very important to look at that. Look at your shadow self to really consciously start manifesting, and you can only do that by looking at it. What I find very important, there are people out there, even in the truther community, that are only focused on facts outside of themselves. So they don't look inward. They're just thinking, if all these governments are gone and if all these systems have fallen, we will be all right, without realizing that they have to clear up their energy as well if they want to start manifesting this beautiful new world. Otherwise, they'll be manifesting from all these old fear, pain, anger, and they will not create the world they really want to see. That's why this period, this great awakening, is so important. I notice it myself. Things are coming up, very old memories. I thought I've already, how do you say that, taken care of or already dealt with, suddenly comes up. So this is a very interesting time. We really have the time now to heal things, to look at that shadow self. You also have certain people in the truth community, well, at least what my own experience, that sound very spiritual, really understand that there's a spiritual connection, but when things happen, they back down. They don't want to look at their share of what's happened. They don't want to take their responsibility. So they talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. I've had that happen to me recently. Then of course I will look into myself. What's going on? What does it say about me? What do I have to learn from this situation? Because that's the most important thing to, if you really want to work with your shadow, is to have self-reflection. You're not going to get anywhere if you cannot reflect on yourself, if you do not understand what is going on in your life, and it has a connection to how you feel, how you think, in what situation you are in, that has to do with you. You really have to turn inside. You really have to reflect on your actions. Just look at your life. What's going on? What kind of people do I have in my life? What does that say about me? Where do I encounter irritations? What is triggering to me? It's very important to look at yourself, because you're not a victim. You are a creator. You are a manifester. That's what you do. But you have to understand that you're also manifesting from this shadow side. And if you don't look at the shadow, it just wants to be brought to light. You just have to shine your light on the darkness, and the shadow will fall away. And then all this energy you can use to truly manifest what you want. So it's so important to self-reflect. If people do not have any self-reflection, I have no idea how they're going to grow spiritually, because you really need to see your share in this. If you don't do that, if you don't want to take responsibility, if you want to keep in this victim mentality, you're not going to step into your power. You're not going to step into your own responsibility, which is what we're supposed to be doing right now in this incredible energy. And if we want to grow and go further, we have to be self-aware. We have to self-reflect. Otherwise, we're going to remain on the same level. We won't see anything that we will not be able to change. We will just stick to what we know without understanding that really we are the source. Our connection with God is the source. That's why it's so important to look at your shadow side. So you need self-reflection. You also need honesty. You need to be honest. I need to be honest too. And I encounter certain things. I have to look what triggers with me, because it is a mirror, but you have to understand the mirror. It doesn't mean that someone mirrors your, the behavior. It's very possible that you keep meeting people that will have no respect for your boundaries. It's actually a mirror because you don't put up boundaries. You let that happen. You let someone walk all over you. So for you, it's important to put up boundaries. That's why you meet people that walk all over your boundaries, so you can see, hey, I don't have any boundaries. That's the mirror effect. So always look at what happens within you, what's going on. If people try to manipulate you, it's a possibility that you manipulate yourself at a certain level, or maybe even manipulate other people. It's also a possibility that they manipulate you on guilt, that you feel guilty if you don't give in to them. Well, then it's your job, so to speak, to handle that guilt, to really feel through it, so they won't be able to manipulate you on that part anymore. That's your responsibility. So, honesty, self-reflection, and you need to feel or be uncomfortable. Especially when things are coming up and certain anger, certain old pains, maybe even shame. It's very important, at least this is my method, so see what resonates with you, is to feel through things. So if I feel shame, I just take my time to really feel it in my body and breathe through it. I'm not going to analyze it. I'm not going to sink in it so that I'm only like feeling ashamed. Just feeling it, breathing through it. That's very important, and at a certain point in time it will fade, and sometimes it can come back because I need to go on a deeper level, but I'm kind of like letting it fade away, and that's very important, because then you will have to be uncomfortable for a little while. We are in a society now that we barely have any time to be uncomfortable. If there's something you don't like, well, you get something else. If there's something you feel horrible, hey, you can start eating or drink wine or do something else, or start gambling or start Netflixing. There's so many things you can do so you don't connect with yourself. All this distraction. We have addictions, distractions. We have all kinds of ways not to connect with ourselves, and we need to. So it's about being uncomfortable for a while. And especially with feelings, you don't know how long that will last, but it will fade. I know that just from my own experience. But sometimes it takes longer, and sometimes, do take care of yourself. So if you feel like, okay, this is for now is enough, take time to relax, but get back to it once you're ready for it. Don't avoid it. we've been avoiding all our lives, and that's why we're ending up with the shadow side, because we're avoiding the shadow, we're avoiding all that stuff. So it's very important to take responsibility, not avoid things, and really be honest with ourselves. What's also very important is persevere. So just continue. This is a process. We're in it right now. And I can, from personal experience, tell that it's a tough process. It's not easy. There are sometimes moments that I'm like, oh, I really don't want to go through this. I really don't want to take a look at this, but I know I have to. Otherwise, I will remain a victim of my shadow side. Because ultimately, that's what we're doing, remaining victim. We're not taking responsibility for our shadow side. So our shadow side is pretty much running our lives. And then, of course, what we see in our reality is that we're always victim of things. But it's our responsibility to take care of our energy, to really realize that this is what we're here for. We are here to take care of that part, to take responsibility for that part, not walk away from it. And it's not going to be easy. Your shadow side is called shadow for a reason. It's dark for a reason. There are a lot of things in there, even from former, other lifetimes, that can be very rough and can be very intense. But it's important to make our way through that, because it's part of us. It's part of our energy. And we want to embrace everything, because if we embrace everything, we will raise our vibration and truly start manifesting what we really want, without all this, how do you say this noise on the line, because that's what it is. We want something, but then we have this shadow side that comes before it. It filters what we want, and of course then we see the effect in reality. If we take away that filter, we'll be so clear. We'll be able to just manifest this beautiful energy, this beautiful new world, without all this noise that's going on, with all these dark energies that are still inside ourselves. We really need to clean it up. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now. So it's a beautiful time right now. I know it's very strange. There are a lot of people in a terrible situation. My heart goes out to them. But essentially, this is the time to heal. This is the time to raise our vibration. This is the time to become the spiritual beings that we are, living in a human experience. We really need to turn it around. And I believe that the time is now to do that. And I have to say, the longer I'm on this process, the longer I am looking at my shadow, the stronger I get. The stronger my faith in that everything is going to be fine is just growing because of that. Because I feel this connection inside myself that it's fine. Everything is fine. This is going to be fine. We're fine. That's why I can probably do what I'm doing, because I feel that connection with God, with my soul. So it's very important to look at the shadow side and really work with it. I want to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.